Hello, everybody. I'm Derek.
Hi, I'm Cole. Welcome to Ringside Rambles.
Yes, welcome to Ringside Ramble. We are talking about what's supposed to be the biggest event of the year. Doesn't really feel like it, in my opinion. But Wrestlemania is here tomorrow on a Saturday, which I'm still got to get used to. It's kind of strange. But so night one's tomorrow, night two is Sunday evening, which is when WrestleMania usually is. Um, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, does that mean they're going to be shorter? No, not at all, because it's WWE and they're going to squeeze every ounce of money they can get from you. So, it is what it is. But at least it's $5 and not $10. That extra five helps. But anyway, so we are here today to give you our predictions and much more. But we're going to start off with our predictions. So, night one, we both have this pulled up from CBS. No, we don't remember this stuff on the top of our head. So starting off, it says, guess we got a multi-women tag team match. Winner receives a title shot on night two. I like the idea of this kind of like, hey, night one, you get to earn your chance. Then night two, you get your championship match. What do you think about that, first of all?
I think it's a good idea. Definitely, kind of builds up everything towards towards the final match. Like kind of like you got your prelim match and then you get your final match. I think that's a very good build up to that. I guess my only like issue with that is how uh, they got four different tag teams rather than two. But I mean, I guess if you're going to do like kind of a tournament style thing, I guess it works. I just wish they could have, broke it down into two separate matches. I think that might have flown a little bit better. But I guess if they're under time constraints, then yeah, it works. So that would definitely good for definitely when you're setting up preliminary to final match on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not a bad idea, especially for the future. If they're going to keep this two-night format, it's a good way to kind of build up your baby face, earn his shot, whatever, his or her rather. So anyway, it's Natalia and Tamina versus Naomi and Lana versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus the Riot Squad. Tag team turmoil. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming it's basically going to be like a free for all tag team match.
Yeah, like a kind of like almost like a Royal Rumble in a sense. So.
Yeah. So, do you have a prediction here?
I'm gonna go with the Riot Squad.
That's interesting because they used to be like on top and they've kind of slipped down the card a lot. Cuz just a
Mm-hmm.
few years ago, they were I don't know about main picture, but for the women's division, it seemed like they were getting a lot of respect and now they're just I don't know, but it's certainly a possibility. I know more recently they've kind of popped back up. So, it's certainly an interesting pick. I'm gonna go with the favorite, Naomi and Lana, just because that seems to be the story they're pushing. Do I really care? No, and that's not sexist. I mean, I just don't care. So yeah. So you got the right squad. I got Naomi and Lana. All right, Raw Tag Team Championship. New Day versus AJ and Omos. Omos being his first uh in-ring debut. Um, what do you think about this match and what's your prediction?
I mean, for almost, since it's pretty much his first in-ring debut on something, especially on WrestleMania night. Personally, if I were doing the card, I wouldn't have put him on just because I don't feel like a rookie should be really going on, at the biggest night of the year, wrestling night of the year. I would either be like sort of like a Royal Rumble entrance or maybe like a SmackDown entrance. I feel like that's where
Mhm.
a bit more proper. But personally, I mean, I think it's definitely a good combination with New Day versus AJ Styles. I mean, AJ hell of a worker, can cut a promo, absolutely fantastic.
So you got a prediction on who's gonna win?
I'm gonna go with undercard. I think I'm not. I mean, almost is kind of a wild card for me. So since I mean this kind of the start, but I think AJ Styles has enough finesse I think they could pull it off.
So you're going with AJ and Omos. I'm going to go with the same. I mean, it's sad to me because AJ is currently my favorite wrestler on the roster. I've just always loved what he's done. I mean, I know some people love to criticize him because, he's a Southern guy and that's a trend to hate Southern people, whatever. But
Apparently, yeah.
but
I'm like,
AJ, he's incredible, and it's kind of sad going from last year. You're retiring the Undertaker, and now it's just kind of like, we'll throw you into this tag team match. So I think to compensate for that, I think they will win, and then eventually Omos will turn or AJ will turn, and they'll split up. But I think for now, yes, they're going to give them the titles. Could be a sleeper good match. I will say. I will say that. All right, up next, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. You got any thoughts on this match and a prediction?
Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. I mean, it's good that Cesaro is getting starting to get a push, but when it comes down to it, Rollins has been top of the game for several years now. Honestly, I feel like Rollins is gonna win that match. Personally, we'll see how Cesaro goes, but I mean, I'm still leaning towards someone who's got more experience and credit and just clout in a
Hmm.
sense. So I would stick with Seth Rollins on this.
Yeah, I think it's this match is kind of unique because it's one of those matches where on paper it's like, wow, it's a good combination. And if you know anything
Mm,
about them, they're really, I don't know if close is the right word, but they're pretty good friends outside of the business. I mean, they're always working out together in their little group. They're always hanging out. I personally think because of Seth Rollins having so much success recently, I think I'm going to go the opposite of your thinking. I think we're thinking the same thing, but I'm going to go the opposite. I think because Rollins has had so much success, he's going to
yeah,
be the one to put over Cesaro because
yeah,
the fans have just been clamoring for years. Just please let Cesaro have his time. He's an incredible worker. He's always entertained the fans. I could be wishful thinking. It is Vince McMahon, but I'm going to go with Cesaro. So on to the
yeah.
next.
And Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn and everybody
Yeah.
else at the WWE.
Speaking of Kevin Dunn, choo 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 himself, Shane McMahon
Oh, here
versus
we
Braun
go.
Strowman, steel cage match. Thoughts and predictions.
Oh, here we go. Shane, I got Shane, 50 years old. I mean, he looks good for 50, but you got Shane McMahon versus Big Man, Braun Strowman in the steel cage, which, if my thinking goes correctly, I think Braun Strowman's going to throw him left, right, center, bloody him up, and just beat the hell out of Shane. So definitely Braun Strowman.
I think the exact same thing, but I've heard this multiple times, and I think I've convinced myself that this is going to happen. Could maybe it won't, but I think the reason why they picked the steel cage now, the storyline they're going with, and it is a stupid, dumb, boring, annoying storyline, is that Braun Strowman's been bullied. First of all, I don't know anything about him and his past, but I'm pretty sure at his size, if you're bullying,
You're telling me this big guy
yeah,
is getting bullied by
exactly.
Shane?
Exactly.
What?
Well, how about ever, first of all? Seriously. I mean, the storyline is stupid. They tried to do this with the Big Show and Cody Rhodes a while back, and it was somewhat decent. Like I remember being like, "Oh, it's cool," and Big Show got his WrestleMania moment, cool. But this is to me, it's just not believable at all. I think Braun is going to obliterate him in the ring, but
Yeah.
what's going to happen is he's going to do a running power slam through the cage. Shane McMahon slides to the floor. Shane McMahon wins because both feet will touch the floor. So Braun,
Well,
so going along with this storyline, that would make Braun technically stupid because he cost himself the match. And I could see that going for a few more pay-per-views. And does anybody care? No. But it seems like something WWE would do. And I've said it before. I think I said it last episode. I'm a big fan of Shane McMahon, even though he is older. I've always liked him in the ring. So I'm sure they're going to put on a really good match, even though it's not super intriguing. But nevertheless, I'm interested to see how the finish to that match goes.
Yeah, my guess if they're doing it in a steel cage, I mean, who knows? We could be recreating Undertaker versus Mankind, where instead of Mankind, Mick Foley going flying off the cage, I think Shane McMahon's gonna be the one taking the big bump through the announce table. I think he's already done it once, and I'm sure he'd love to do it again.
Well, and that's true. That would be another way for him to win.
Yeah.
I mean, his feet are gonna hit the floor if he gets thrown off the cage. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So this next match, Bad Bunny, rapper, whatever, and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Thoughts? Why? That's my thoughts. Why? Why?
We're gonna have a rapper dressed as a bunny, the Energizer Bunny, doom 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 doom.
That's what they should do.
Versus the Miz. Yeah, really, I would bring up ratings quite enough. Hell, but you're gonna have Bad Bunny and Damian Priest go against the Miz and John Morrison. Uh, Goodness grief, man, I'm gonna go for the Miz, and even though I'll be a little bit biased in it, just because it's like, why are we putting Bad Bunny over? Just because he sells merchandise, and we got all these, like Stephanie McMahon talking about our data scientists are doing a lot of work and they're analyzing a lot of data left, right, and center, and that's how we're getting our ratings up and our revenue and everything. I'm like, what? No, people don't want to. People don't care about some guy dressed up as a bunny with a bass drum strapped to his rear or whatever the heck. No, they want to see good matches,
Oh
hot
my
tags,
gosh.
hot finishes, all this good stuff.
I just thought of
But
it. I just
no,
thought of it. You know what his entrance is going to be?
go.
Remember when John Cena had a bunch of John Cenas for whatever WrestleMania that was? It's going to be a bunch of people in bunny costume instead. Oh no.
Why
That's
did you jinx it?
oh.
Oh no! We're gonna see Buddy
Oh.
holograms too in the Thunderdome. Whatever the heck they're doing to that. Oh no!
It
Yeah,
sucks.
here we go.
It sucks because I like Damian Priest a lot. I think he's an incredible
Well,
talent.
he's about to get buried.
They're
Unfortunately.
this is their idea of putting him on the main card, and or not maybe putting him, but debuting him. You know, they're gonna have Bad Bunny win and Damian Priest win because yay, fans. Nobody cares.
The data scientists said they're doing good. According to the 50 data scientists they have working at WWE HQ. Oh, yeah, we got to put Bad Bunny over because he's selling merchandise and he's ratings.
This is the stuff that makes me
Huh?
question why I ever still contemplate about watching wrestling.
Oh, we're really getting there. It's gone south.
Real quick. So anyway, whatever. Who cares? I probably won't even watch that match. I'll probably turn it off at that point.
We'll click. Well, then again, on Peacock, on the
Oh, that's
cock,
right.
you can't skip. You
That's
can't pause. You
right.
can't skip. You're stuck watching. You're like, ah! That's all it is. You can't do nothing. You're trying to click, and it's frozen, or it breaks down, or it shuts off, and you might have to pay the subscription fee again.
Oh,
Like you can't do nothing.
it's ridiculous. Anyway, women's championship match: Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair won the women's Royal Rumble. Thoughts and predictions?
Sasha Banks. I think she's gonna hold.
Sasha needs it. I think there's somebody said it was like 6 years in a row she lost or something like that. Something crazy. I don't know. Um I'm kind of back and forth on this because at the same time their women's division in my opinion is really lacking,
Mhm.
and having Belair as your women's champion I think helps a lot.
Mhm.
Um I'm going to go Bianca just cuz you said Sasha so we can be
Yeah,
opposites.
agree to disagree, perhaps. Yeah.
But so anyway, the main event of night 1 presumably Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Your main event for night 1, as I said.
Let's see, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. I mean, it's a pretty good main event. I won't even lie on that. I think Lashley's going to retain the title, of course. Um, but I mean, it seems like the WWE Championship, at least they got something decent going on. Even though the last couple of weeks they've been kind of screwing up Bobby Lashley and his clique and everything, which is unfortunate. But I think Lashley is gonna hold on to the title.
I really hope you're right. I really do. I mean, here's the thing. I like Drew McIntyre. I do. But I just feel like they're getting to the point. Like, if he wins, cool, whatever. But if Bobby wins and Bobby goes on this tear like he should, that would be so much better. I mean, this storyline has been, hey, I'm Drew McIntyre. I lost it to The Miz because you screwed me. And then you won it from The Miz. And now I'm just going to jump right back in line. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think they made a good story so much worse by breaking them up, and I just
Yeah,
do I care about the match? Sure, I think it's going to be a really good match. Should
hmm
Bobby Lashley win? 100%. 100%. I don't think he will. I think because Drew won it last year in an empty crowd, they're going to say, "Oh, well, here you go. Here you go. We're going to give it to you in somewhat of a crowd this year." So, I'm going Drew McIntyre. Good for him, I guess. It is what it is. So that is night 1, ladies and gentlemen. So on to night 2, United States Championship match. Riddle, which by the way, why is WWE getting rid of first names? What's wrong with calling him Matt Riddle?
who knows? I think Vince might be forgetting to take his medication.
Doesn't that seem like such a Vince idea though?
Yes, it
We're not
does.
gonna have first names anymore. It's only last
No,
names.
he probably. I mean, like they said back in the '90s, the way Vince would, create gimmicks for wrestlers is that he would do literally like a job interview and use that. Like when he did Mick Foley, he would call him Michael. Like, huh? You've never seen Mick Foley. You've never seen Cactus Jack,
Yeah.
really? And I mean, if it wasn't for Mick saying no, I'm not going to go with this really crappy gimmick you gave me. Goodness, but yeah, it just. I mean, they seem like they just can't seem to make a decent gimmick, and now you got a bunch of comedy writers that the only action they get in the bedroom is with a blow up doll. Come on.
Oh, I'm telling you. It's just the stupidest little things with them. I'm telling you. first names.
Vince Russo could have done a better job, and and nobody likes Russo, and he could have done a better job writing this card. Really.
But anyway, so Riddle, whatever, call him Riddle, whatever you want to call him, I don't care. Versus Sheamus for the U.S. title. Predictions?
I think I'm a sick of Riddle for the title.
I think he's actually underrated in the ring, I would say. I think his gimmick just sucks. It's like, cool, you're a stoner. And like I
Well, we know who else is getting stoned, and he's at the other company.
oh yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'm gonna take Sheamus to win. I could see them screwing him over, but I think the reason Sheamus wins this one is because this is gonna be a preview for his future main title run. I think he's at the best point in his career. And kind of like they did with Lashley, putting the U.S. title on him first, I think that's kind of what they're going to do here with Sheamus. I could honestly see them moving him back over to SmackDown, maybe, and throwing him over in that situation. I don't know. But I think he's just at such a great run. Vince doesn't seem like a fan of Riddle to me. I just don't. That seems like a gimmick where he's just like, I don't get it. But I'm gonna go with Sheamus. Women's tag team match. Well, actually, we can skip that because it would be against whoever wins the first one, and we both predicted different ones. So, next match, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Great match with Logan Paul. As if Bad Bunny was not enough.
Logan Paul. Oh hell.
You know what they
Logan
did?
Paul.
You know what they did, right? Vince goes, yeah, we need to add somebody to this. We need a celebrity.
Logan Paul? They needed
No.
to add Logan Paul.
No. Let me finish. He said, what's big? What's WrestleMania? Hogan. What rhymes with Hogan? Logan. There, yeah. Get Logan Paul. That's what he did.
Logan Paul is going to be the manager, or what is he? Let's see.
It says with Sami Zayn, so I guess he's gonna.
I guess he's Sami Zayn's manager, maybe like the special enforcer, referee. I don't know, but Logan Paul, of all people, really. Oh goodness. I mean, he's already got enough publicity as is, and it's for all the wrong reasons. Why? But come on, really?
His podcast, honestly, is not that bad. I did listen to one of them. I forget who it was.
I mean, yeah, it's decent. I won't disagree with that, but still. I'm gonna go Kevin Owens on this one.
I'm gonna go Kevin Owens too. Any match between Owens and Zayn are great. I hate Sami Zayn's gimmick right now. I know people love it, but it's his whole gimmick is basically making fun of conspiracy theories, and it's I don't like Sami Zayn as a person. He's a great worker in the ring, but he's just about as politically dumb. I was gonna say but YouTube would be not happy with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But I don't like Sami Zayn as a person. I don't like this gimmick. He looks like a homeless slob. He's just I don't know. He's somebody that I would prefer would just go away for a while, honestly, because I don't care. But anyway, I'm gonna go with Owens. So this is interesting. A Nigerian drum match between Big E and Apollo Crews. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to expect here.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, what do you what do you,
I
what do you think this match is gonna be? Do you think it's gonna be like a bunch of people with drums on the outside? Like, I really have no clue.
I mean, what Nigerian drum? The first thing I think is like a 60-inch bass drum, and the first one that beats on it wins. Like, what? What kind of match is this?
And
What?
I haven't watched anything to do with this feud for the most part, so they could have said something. Um. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, it says basically no holds barred, so I guess it's no holds barred.
Okay, so I mean, beat the snot out of each other, no holds barred, anything goes. Slam them through the announce table, have a blast.
Somebody's
Or
going
make
through a
Michael.
drum though. I mean, that's gonna
No,
happen.
I think that's what's it. I think somebody's going through the 60-inch bass drum. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, I think so. I mean, we can get somebody from Grambling State to come out and beat on it for a bit, just to make noise. So,
Who you got winning?
uh, Biggie.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure because I think Apollo, this new gimmick of his, I think could work maybe. But it this seems like one of the things that could get going, but they just never let get going. I'm gonna go with Biggie as well. Um, I think I don't know. We'll see with that match. I don't know if it'll be that great because I had such high hopes for the last one, and the last match they had was bad, had a botched finish. So I'm not too excited as I would be if that one was good. Um, this is kind of the WTF moment of WrestleMania: The Fiend versus Randy Orton. Is this even going to be a match? Like, what's going to happen here?
I'm still trying to get past the fact that the Fiend, like the character of the Fiend, does this thing called Firefly Funhouse. Like, I mean, I think they got that uh, off of a scary movie script. That's the only thing. They got writers from Scary Movie 2
It's
writing
basically it,
writing
it's
his gimmick.
basically Mr. Rogers as a horror movie.
Pretty
It's pretty
much.
much.
Yeah, the Fiend versus Randy Orton. Let's see. Randy Orton, very experienced, very good. Fiend, he's all right. Um, personally, I think Randy Orton. I'm kind of really and truly I'm kind of 50-50. I mean, they might give the Fiend a push, but considering how Randy Orton is, I think Randy Orton's going to win it. Just because he's been there, and just I kind of I guess I feel like with Randy Orton, kind of the power kind of has kind of gone to his head a little bit. So I'm going to lean towards Orton on this one.
I think if they let me book this match, I would do it cinematic, pre-recorded all that. And I would have because a while back Randy Orton burnt down Bray Wyatt's house when he was doing the deranged cult leader gimmick. And there was like a lake there or whatever, a swamp or whatever. I would have them fight over there, have the Fiend fall in the water and come back up as the regular version of the Fiend, not this burnt, crispy, horrible looking garbage.
KFC.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if they did that, because think about this. If he was in this burnt, bad looking form,
Mhm.
and was essentially like redeemed by this
Yeah.
lake, and then came back and he like the aggression went like that. You know what I mean? That could
Hmm.
be a good way to tell the story. And then that way you could market him again. You can't market, and I think we talked about this last time. You can't market a melted character. I mean, it's not going to happen. Um, I don't know what to expect in this match. I don't know if it even is going to be a match. Last year against John Cena wasn't really a match. Um, I think I'm gonna go with the Fiend just because he's coming back and they'll probably have him win. I could see Randy kind of getting written off TV there for a while just because of I think I want to say he had another kid maybe. I could be wrong there. Maybe it's somebody else. Um I
perhaps.
don't know for sure, but
Uh,
so I'm going to go with the Fiend.
mhm.
Next, Raw Women's Championship match: Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, the 2 week prior build. What do you think?
Short and sweet. I think the build. I think the match is going to be just short as a build, and I'm going to stick with Rhea Ripley on it, winning the title.
They better not mess this up. That's all I'm going to say. They better not mess this
Never
up.
know. I mean,
They
let's
have,
remember who's running the show.
well, yeah, but they have a absolute star that they can sell a bunch of merch, build off of. Rhea Ripley is, I mean, about as perfect as you can get right now for you're a new star women's wrestler. Just a bad, killer. And to me, I think there's no better way of introducing her to the main roster than saying, "Hey, you're going to win the title at WrestleMania," and then go
Mhm.
on a tear from there. I think that's what they should do. I didn't even realize Asuka was women's champion there for a while. That's how bad of a run she's had. Um, so yeah. And by the way, Jay Uso just won the Andre Battle Royal, I think.
Not bad.
Yep. Well, good for him. Anyway. So the main event. To me, this is the most interesting match on the card.
Three
The
way.
Yep, the Universal Championship match: Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Give me your thoughts and predictions for this one.
Uh, I really don't know where to start. I mean, I feel like. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out the chemistry here how how this is going to work. That's where I'm kind of struggling. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to give it to Edge. I mean, Edge is already over. Edge has been there. Gosh, long time, almost 20 years. In and out over a span of 20 years. I mean, he's already over. Daniel Bryan, kind of same thing. I mean, even though he hasn't been there as long, but I mean, Daniel Bryan's been in and out because of injuries and stuff. So, and then of course, you got Roman Reigns, everybody's favorite, aside from Brock Lesnar, with Paulie at his side. I'm, I'm just trying to see. I don't know how the chemistry is going to work, but if anything, I think if anything, they're just going to keep Roman Reigns having the title. I don't think they're going to give it to Edge or Daniel Bryan.
Roman is he went from being hated because people thought he couldn't be a good worker to
Mm-hmm.
being pretty much universally loved because of the work he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um I'm going to go on a flyer. I think Daniel Bryan's going to win, and I'll tell you why. I think this is going to be his last run because they've been talking about it, but I think because this is a first night back with a crowd, and technically he already won the championship. They just didn't
Mm-hmm.
see it at Fastlane where Roman tapped. I think they're gonna go for that WrestleMania 30, I think it was, or 31, where he overcame the odds and the crowd was just beyond behind him. I think
Mm-hmm.
because this is the first night back and they're gonna have they're gonna be searching for that big pop.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most unexpected person to win this match is Brian. So I'm gonna throw that out there. I think he could win. So WrestleMania as a whole, I think this just doesn't feel special this year. What do you think about that compared to like other years?
Honestly, I think I've there's only one good match that I saw that looks like it could be good, and that's the Bobby Lashley match. Beyond that, it seems like just, I mean, I read a lot of YouTube comments, people that comment on Attitude Era stuff, and I guess I've been spoiled on the tube. Uh, because I mean, you used to seeing, when you watch those clips, you used to seeing a lot of high quality matches nonstop on regular television. And then you go to the pay-per-view and it's like just wow. But now you look at the quality of TV. Unfortunately, if the quality of TV goes down, of course, unfortunately, your pay-per-views are going to start going down the toilet. And the only match I see that's really good is Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Beyond that, I see a bunch of throwaway matches that could be going down on like Raw or SmackDown, but it just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be anything super special. Unfortunately, I just see it kind of like AEW's Ring. I feel like WrestleMania is going to be kind of a dud.
It's just so disappointing because, well, and first of all, I mean, for the first time and I don't know how long, no Brock Lesnar, no Goldberg, no Undertaker, no Triple H,
Mhm.
no John Cena. Um, Trying to think who else. But point is, I mean, it seems like this is the first WrestleMania other than like Edge,
Mhm.
where they're saying no legends. It's all you young guys and
Yeah.
girls.
Unfortunately, they've given them really bad pushes and really bad gimmicks. I
Exactly.
mean, and that
That's
and I'm
why it doesn't
and
feel special.
mhm.
So it's just they they have potential stars that they don't let be stars. So I don't know. It just doesn't feel special this year. I'm glad it's in front of a crowd. I hear the stage is supposed to be great. I don't
It
know.
always is. So
I don't know. The
we'll
last few
see.
years have been pretty lackluster.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but there is a lot of hype. So, I mean, we'll see. Um Trying to think what else were we going to talk about here
All
today?
right. Let's see. AEW, All Elite Wrestling. I discovered. I know we discussed this earlier. We discovered a new Twitter account called AEW Botches, and goodness grief. Let's see. First off, let's talk about AEW's ratings. They have really been taking a nosedive recently. I'm reading this tweet from AEW Botch. It says AEW ratings going down. So we're on, let's see, March 17th, AEW, 768,000 viewers. Fast forward about 3 weeks later, and they're down 100, almost 100,000 viewers.
Wow.
Meanwhile, you got a bunch of guys in there that do comedy stunts, like they're at a circus, and they can't seem to do a power slam. That's like they don't know what they're doing. I mean, are you trying to do like they don't know how to do a run in? I mean, just really basic stuff that you would think that they would know how to do, but they're trying to do all this gymnastic stuff, and now they're trying to bring in what I ay ay ay,
Did you
and I
see
mean,
Mike Tyson?
yeah, they're trying to bring in all these big names and stuff as a way to float their ratings, but as we see, it ain't working. It's just going downhill slowly. And you got Jim Ross trying to keep up with it, and even JR's just starting to get lost by all this movement and gymnastics and flying and just all that. And it doesn't make sense. And then they're bringing in Princess Jasmine. I mean, like, silly, they're bringing in Santina Morella again. Come on, what is this? And it gets better. It gets better. I mean, they got their women's wrestlers doing go-go dances like they're tiki girls, and then they go for some black backflip slam something, and they can't even do a rollover, like just a regular rollover.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at this, and it's like, what?
I had high hopes for AEW when it first started. I really did. But it just it feels like the TNA, WCW. Hey, let's get as many WWE guys as we can, not build stars. Just throw it all together. And it just seems
Mhm.
like a disaster. Like, not that it's bad every week because it is better than Raw. I mean, it is a lot of
That
times,
is true.
which is sad to say, but I think the problem is and Jericho has said this. This is how, or maybe not Jericho. It was either Matt Hardy or Jericho said, you basically don't need approval. It's just do what you want.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I
sure, that's
mean, there's
fine to an extent, but you just can't have guys doing whatever 24/7.
the kids are running the daycare.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening. And the daycare supervisor's doped up. He don't know what's going on. Well, I mean, heck, he's younger than half the kids in the daycare. That's the thing. Goodness.
Tony
And
Khan.
not only that, but like, I mean, let's look at. I mean, we compare the rating between AEW and NXT here, and it looks like it just ratings are just plummeting all across the board because everybody's getting tired of the same show. Even you can't even flip the channel, and you still. I mean, there's no variety, there's no structure. Everybody's doing the same thing, gymnastics, and you can't even. And but like when it comes to doing just a simple roll up 1, 2, 3, it's like, oh, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Basics.
know.
Basics. And this is the stuff,
Simple
I
stuff.
this is the stuff like with football they talk about with receivers. Every receiver nowadays wants to do a bunch of one-hand catches, these quick fancy stuff, and then you go like this and they can't catch it because they don't know how to catch with two hands because all they've been doing is this stuff. That's great, cool. It looks great. But what happens when you're running a 10-yard, out or whatever and I hit you dead in the hands and you can't catch it? You got to get the basics down first before you can get to that next level. It's the same thing here. They do a lot of fancy stuff and they don't think they got to do the basics. I mean,
Yeah.
half of wrestling is just focusing on making it look real. And gymnastics is great with some people, but doesn't mean it's going to look real. Like Hangman Page, I love him to death. He's
Yeah.
my favorite wrestler in AEW because every time I watch a Hangman Page match, I genuinely can sit back and enjoy it because so much of it is the basics are down. It
Yeah.
looks real, it looks good,
I think like the match with Shaq.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice. I mean, aside from the women's part, which I mean, and even they did pretty good.
Hmm.
Aside from, I mean, that was a really good, simple match, and that got a lot of attention, and it looked really good. I mean, it was nice, simple, easy match, and I mean, and that's, I mean, if they, I mean, I don't know why. Like it seemed like they did that one really good thing, and then the last week or two has just been like one after the other. People flying off roof. I mean, it's like ECW when they're doing their crazy stuff. People flying off roofs and tables and the other things, and they got Orbeez flying everywhere. Like, come on, man.
What? Hey, speaking of AEW, what do you think about Vince McMahon approving Jericho to be on Austin's podcast?
I think what that shows, from a business perspective, I think what that's kind of showing, at least, in Vince McMahon's mind and a lot of people within WWE corporate, is that, we've got a chance over the last year now. We've got a full year in, maybe a little longer, of AEW now. AEW is already established, has already started to establish themselves, and we've already know the product, and what they see is that, I don't think they care. They're just like, I mean, AEW, who, what's that?
Hmm.
And I mean, that's how it is. I mean, I don't think they really cared, because, I mean, goodness, even though WWE's fallen down, I mean, AEW is doing a lot quicker. um and so, and I just don't think they see it as an issue, because it's just like, I mean, they kind of see AEW as this, indie mud show outlaw, redneck hillbilly coon, whatever. Just this independent outlaw wrestling promotion that's on a big network. That's what they see it as. Where at least, in WWE they still have some form of structure within the organization. So that's why they allow Chris Jericho to do the Steve Austin podcast, or the Steve Austin show, Broken Skull Sessions, just because, I mean, they just don't see AEW as anything credible. They just see AEW as an independent promotion, that Chris Jericho went to an independent promotion. So I
Yeah,
don't. I mean, that's pretty much how it is.
and I've said it before. AEW needs a crowd because this gymnastic stuff only works with a crowd because you need that pop and show. Oh
You gotta
well,
you gotta have that energy,
yeah.
just to really
And then
drive the whole
yeah, and then people
pace of
say,
the
"Oh,
match.
well, they do have a crowd." Yeah, okay, all the 10 people that
Uh,
are there and the 15 that are wrestlers,
well,
who
they're all
cares?
people from the locker room.
Exactly. And it just I couldn't agree more. Vince doesn't care. He doesn't view him as competition. He doesn't take him seriously anymore. Uh,
Mhm.
at one point, it was like, "Oh, this could be a legitimate threat." And now they're just laughing, going, "All right, whatever. Have fun." It's and I'm not saying it can't get to that level because I think it can. I think if they made a
Yeah.
few adjustments and stuff, and I think if they had more of a direction from the top and not some grown adult child playing with a bunch of real life toys, I
Mhm.
think they could work it out because it's like WWE. I mean, we talk about this. They have a great roster. They have a lot of talent. It's just what are you going to do with it? And I think once they figure that out, if they ever figure that out, it could be pretty successful.
Yeah.
But will they?
I don't know. As long as inmates running the insane asylum ain't looking too good.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's sad because, like I said, I think they had so much potential, but who knows? So, anyway, what was else on our
Let's see.
list there?
WWE recently came out with their top 50 women's wrestlers.
Now, is this current?
Yes, this is current list actually.
All right, let's go with our let's go with top 5. Give me your top 5 who you think it should be. And do you have the list right there?
Yeah. So number one, we start off with Trish Stratus, and I mean it's a good pick. I mean Trish is pretty good. I mean I feel like they use her more just for the looks rather than actually, or as the looks and Vince McMahon's escort pretty much. I feel like, I mean, that's kind of the feeling I got from her. But I mean, she had a pretty good run in
Mhm.
WWE. She also won the women's championship, so I think they did pretty good there. And then let's see, number two, we go into Charlotte Flair. And
Really? Wow.
Charlotte, yeah, and Charlotte's absolutely fantastic. So I mean, but I mean, personally, I think Charlotte Flair should have been number one. I mean, I think overall, she's the best that they've had in almost ever. And that's
Mhm.
it's aside from like Mae Young and stuff. But even though Mae Young, I mean WWE, that was almost before that was even a thing really. But still, I mean, for modern day, I'm talking like modern day. I mean, like 1995 to today. I mean, I think Charlotte Flair is just that was. I think Charlotte Flair more deserving that number one spot than number two. But I mean, still kudos to her.
I think if you're looking at like today's current active women's roster,
Mhm.
to me it's Charlotte. Honestly, I would have Rhea Ripley number 2. I think if you're going just based on wrestling, I think Asuka 3. Um Then other than that, I know people I will say this, Sasha Banks, I'm very impressed with her. You can tell Eddie Guerrero has been an inspiration of hers, and you can tell she's taken that seriously to kind of improve, maybe not in his style, but just some of the little things he did. You can kind of pick up on watching her. I'm going to throw out a very, very, very controversial opinion here. I don't like Becky Lynch. I never have.
I mean, she tries. I feel like she tries to emulate that kind of Stone Cold gimmick
Mhm. I
and
just don't
within
think it
hers, but
works.
like for her, I don't know. I mean, my reviews are kind of mixed with Becky Lynch.
I just I think she's gotten so much hype, and it's nothing against her. I mean, I'm sure she works hard and, she dedicates her time to her craft and all, but just me as a fan, I've never been invested. I mean, even in that triple threat with Charlotte, Ronda, and her,
Mhm.
I really didn't want her to win because I'm like, I don't care. I mean, at least with Charlotte, there's something there. There's a story there. With Ronda, obviously Ronda's got her own story. Um, I don't know. I've just never been really a big fan, and I know that's going to make a lot of people mad, but oh well.
Let's
So,
see. Let's see. They got number four as China.
hmm,
Hmm. Uh,
it's interesting.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, unfortunately, I feel like she came up at the wrong time. Personally, but I mean, but I mean, she did have. I mean, she was just kind of the women's muscle. But unfortunately, at the time, she was in the WWE. Well, back then WWF.
Hmm.
With her time in the WWF, I mean, it was still mostly a male-dominated industry, and it was still holding on to a lot of old school ideals from back in the '80s and stuff. And unfortunately, I feel like they just kind of used her as a prop. Um, but I don't know. I think that's all she. I mean, that's really all she was. I mean, and of course, Sable was also a prop too. But I mean, then again, they use her just because. I mean, she got silicone all over,
Mm.
especially the tatas. And she just looked good. I mean, that's about it. I mean, and China did the same thing in 2000, and that was pretty much all they were really. She was really good for, unfortunately. Just I mean, at the time, I mean, if she'd have came in like say '05, I feel like they'd have done a much better job with China.
Mm-hmm.
But just I mean, it was just bad timing, unfortunately. So
It's definitely the women's wrestling has definitely changed drastically.
absolutely.
So, but
Let's see. Yeah, number 5, Oscar.
hmm.
So she definitely the top 5. Let's see. Who else we got? Number 8 is Lita, and then Ronda Rousey's at number 9.
What?
Yeah,
In all of her 3 matches?
yeah. Number 9, Ronda Rousey. She did 3 matches, and then she got like, she got pissy and didn't like it. Okay. 16, Sable.
Hmm.
Yeah. Even though
What's this?
Sable did absolutely nothing but look pretty.
Who's number 50? How bad do you have to
Uh,
be 50?
Tony Storm.
I like her. I think she does all right. I mean,
Yeah, let's see.
she's
Who
kind
else
of
we
new.
got? Yeah. Alexa Bliss is number 13. I don't know. Shayna Baszler, number 18. Okay. Rhea Ripley at 21.
Oh, that's criminal. That's
Michelle
criminal.
McCool, that's Undertaker's wife, number 22.
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon even made the list at number 23.
Of
Even
course
though,
she did.
I mean, even though Stephanie just she didn't do much in the ring. They had, most of her matches. It was just like what's that girl's name? What's Stacy Keebler. Stacy Keebler. I mean, really, the only thing I mean, Stephanie McMahon for most of her run in WWE, I mean, even today, except now she's mostly in the office,
Hmm.
was mainly this kind of, basically general manager authority figure. She wasn't really.
The boss's daughter, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the only matches she did were basically bra and panties matches, strip you down to your absolutely bare bones.
Hmm.
Got to put the FCC sensors on, stuff like that. I mean, that's really the only matches like her and Stacey Keebler did. I mean, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I mean, Stephanie, I don't know. I mean, she made the list. Okay.
Whose list is
Uh,
this?
this is WWE's list.
Oh, jeez.
So it's no wonder.
What
Uh,
unpaid intern did they have write this?
when you find out, you let me know. Let's
I
see.
don't
Nia
care
Jax
enough.
is 36. All the way at the bottom. Let's see. Bianca Belair is 35.
Hmm.
Let's see. Gail Kim at 33. Layla at 42. Yeah, I mean, I just it seemed like, and I mean, they didn't even put. I mean, I feel like they missed out on. There's a lot of women that they didn't even put in the list, but I guess they're just going off of who was who was in WWE, not all the companies they acquired, like WCW, Crockett, and all those guys and stuff. I don't think they put them in. I mean, they put them in, you'd have people like maybe like Baby Doll and people
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, they're just going off people that were in the current roster, and it seemed like they started off with all the people that were in the roster that like were used to be in the roster and they just went down slowly to current people. They just put a bunch. I think after honestly, once they got to after number 9, after Ronda Rousey, I feel like they just scrambled a bunch of names
Names.
and
Yeah.
just put them in a pot and like, number 48, Kaylee Ray. There we go,
Yeah.
and just pull names out of a hat. I think that's how they did the list. So that's from what it looks like.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody takes them lists seriously anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
anything else before we wrap up here? I know we've been going for a while.
Let's take a look.
Because hopefully Zoom doesn't
No,
cut this off. Because I did an interview and it cut off like 5 minutes, and I was ticked.
I'm not surprised. The red light's still on. I think that covers it.
All right, so that's it for today. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we got our WrestleMania predictions in. I would say enjoy WrestleMania, but I probably won't. So I'm not even gonna lie to y'all and say enjoy it. But who knows?
There is one more thing I forgot to cover. Have you seen that promo of Tony Khan with Tony Schiavone just standing there like, "I'm just paid to do this"?
Uh
Oh my goodness!
uh.
You got Tony Khan on Impact, or yeah, Impact, cutting this promo, screaming, hollering. I mean,
Why
not
is he
making
on
any
TV?
sense. He said he wasn't going to be on TV, but I mean, you know what? I will pay $200 for anybody to please tell me who in the heck he's getting his drugs from. Because whatever he's on, it must be some good stuff. Because I mean, Tony Khan just babbling going on, and he's got Tony Schiavone just standing there, just like, I don't know, man. I'm just paid. I'm just paid to be here. I mean, he's got me a fat paycheck. What can I say? I might as
Giovanni's
well just
he's
be
sitting there
here.
going, I don't know why I still do this. Why did I agree to come to this company?
Yeah, I think Jim Ross said the same thing, and they got like how many announcers did they have on at one time? At least 4 or 5, for
I
some
don't
reason.
know.
It's just, I mean, oh my goodness, I,
It's just
I'm
sad.
I'm I'm done before I start going off, before I really start cutting the hot promo, the uncensored version.
Yeah. We'll save that for the next one. I'm sure there'll be plenty to rant about after WrestleMania anyway.
Absolutely.
So, well, anyway, guys, like I said, let me know your WrestleMania predictions. Do you even care? Like, are you even interested in this year's
Oh,
WrestleMania?
I'm gonna take a look. Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna take a look at it and see, just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
won't
might as well. If I've dedicated this much time, I might as well go ahead and take a look,
I won't be
see
able
how
to
it went.
watch tomorrow night live. I'll be at a friend's house, so I have to I'm kind of I'm thinking about should I turn off spoilers and just watch it later, or should I just like who cares and look at it and then if
I think who cares at this point? I mean, it's
yeah,
just, I mean, the quality's so bad, and then of course everybody on the internet's going to post about it anyway. So even if
yeah.
you turn off boilers, I mean, you're still going to see it. So
Plus, I think night 2 is probably the better night anyway, you know.
perhaps.
I just want to see the stage. That's kind of what I want to see
Yeah,
first.
I want to see the stage, and I want to see how bad Hulk Hogan messes it up.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot. Oh no.
I want to
Oh
see how
no.
bad Hulk Hogan's gonna mess this up.
Ugh.
Here we go.
All right.
Showtime.
Well, anyway, y'all get the point. Like I said, enjoy WrestleMania if you want to, if you want to put yourself through that punishment. Oh well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts, and we will see you in episode 3 sometime soon.